You're welcome back from that short break. This is still The Gavel. Up next is a chat we had with Dr. Jerry Chukwueke, a public affairs analyst, economist, and politician. He spoke with my colleague, Terry Ikumi, on how the budgeting process in the country can be improved, the relationship between the legislature and the executive, and the challenges before the 9th National Assembly.
We have noted in the last few days some of the critical bills that the National Assembly has just passed, particularly the Senate, with regards to the PMB. The PMB bill has been outstanding for a long time. I think the adjustments Mr. President required to be able to...
The BIG bill, you mean?
Yeah, the BIG bill, yes.
Okay.
And they have now sorted that, and hopefully Mr. President will sign the BIG bill. I think that will be important for the oil sector and its impact. But having said that, I think that one of the missed opportunities of the 8th Assembly, which I hope the 9th Assembly can really pick up and run with, is the business of coming together. The divisiveness has become a major problem for this country, all the way from the presidency and down. We are now in a near quagmire, security-wise, economy-wise, unemployment, all of the issues that concern protection of lives and property, investor confidence, both local and foreign, and the huge impact these negatives are having on the lives of our people. My view is that this is the opportunity for the 9th Assembly to come together and, quite frankly, in a new bold move, to bring the executive along across party lines.
Do you think that there was any time when it seemed like that relationship was responsible for certain downplay or downturns in certain aspects of the economy?
Oh, without a doubt. Because for a very long time, we had leadership issues in the National Assembly where the presidency and the parties disagreed. And all parties were working pretty much at cross purposes. And they couldn't get the quality legislation in place and signed off on because there were very serious disagreements that were largely political. If you look at the new members, incoming members, we have noted that quite a few of them come from the private sector, and that's a good thing. One of the important things, by the way, that the presidency has now effected is the business of how local government funds now must directly go to local governments, away from the clutches of governors. And here's why I make the point. I think that what would begin to happen here differently is that the expectations, because of a clear sense of urgency in terms of where we are as a country, the poverty level, unemployment level, infrastructure deficit, insecurity, this whole fear that now dominates the minds of most Nigerians.
The National Assembly has passed some legislation, raised some motions, made resolutions with the hope that that would help in fighting insecurity. But that doesn't seem to be the case now. Does it seem to you like the legislature, the National Assembly is all talk and no action?
Well, sometimes it does appear so. And in all fairness to the National Assembly, particularly the 8th Assembly that is now about to give way, there was a lot of focus. And they did voice many concerns about the security situation as it continued to deteriorate. I think part of what's happened here is a perception that Mr. President has not paid sufficient attention to the issue of insecurity. particularly the herdsmen, and the devastating impact that perception has had on our people and the economy. Let me give you an example. One of the challenges we are now going to face shortly is that a lot of farmers are not able to go to the farm. Agriculture is over 70% employment opportunity in Nigeria. Our food security is now being seriously threatened. So we've gone from herdsmen killings to the perception that they are being emboldened by the executive that has not asserted itself sufficiently. And you know, in reality, sometimes perception and reality begin to come so close that perception becomes reality. That's the danger. Because Mr. President, the man I know, cannot and would not support a situation where armed headsmen are all over the place. And in fact, terrorists, bandits with arms from God knows where, and just traumatizing the entire country to a point now where people are scared to hell. They don't want to invest. They don't want to go to the farm, all the way down the east.
The National Assembly.
So this is real.
The National Assembly passed so much legislation, as I mentioned
Yes.
just at the beginning of this question. And it seemed like they had proposed solutions to some of these issues. What actions do you expect? Because you said it seems to you like the National Assembly was all talk and no action. Mm-hmm. So beyond making these resolutions and making suggestions to the federal government, to the executive, what actions do you expect, did you expect the National Assembly to take to at least nip this in the bud?
Well, reality is that they can only advise and come together to try to pressure the executive to listen more closely. And this is what Mr. President and his people must now do. Here's another example. You've seen the ban that was just placed on firearms. And all Nigerians are now required to turn in whatever arms and permits they have. Okay, that's a good thing. But you know, what a lot of people are talking about is that the emphasis should be on all the people who have unlicensed arms. The people who are committing the mayhem in this country, be it in Katsina State, Zamfara, be it in Kaduna, Kano, are not licensed. The emphasis should first be on that.
This new assembly, the incoming assembly, and the executive, how do we move from not just having a budget cycle of maybe, of possibly January to December, but having an effective budget that can be impactful?
Well, the one thing that so far is holding up is the price of crude. Remember, in reality, our life largely depends on the sale of crude oil. It's hovering somewhere between $67 and $70 a barrel, and that's a good thing, and the market is moving. Foreign reserves now, it's about 45 billion and a little better. That's good. So, the budget, even going back to the 8th Assembly, and what we've seen for 2019, may not be in as much trouble, even though the borrowing is still going to be heavy. You know, we're going to borrow some 1.8 trillion easily. And I hear all this about increase in VAT and aggressive tax collections and revenue drives and so on. But you got a huge budget deficit. But having said that, I think that Mr. President must also now start to focus, just as state governments, on post-oil economy. Because if the next 10 to 15, 20 years, most engines, most automobiles are going to be electric.
Do you foresee the 9th Assembly running into any form of problem?
I think that the expectation of Nigerians that security should be and must be restored as job one, and that the economy and the management of it, particularly how it affects jobs, opportunities, infrastructure, and by the way, the president in his first term has done a good job with infrastructure, but the massive deficit is heavy. So more needs to be done. But insecurity, yes. Education, fighting poverty to a standstill.
You think these will be challenges for the Ninth
Oh,
Assembly?
without a doubt. And look at our population growth. We're close to 4% every year. So by 2050, we're over 400 million people. This is an existential threat.
Dr. Chukwueke, I'd like to say thank you so much.
Well, thank
for
you
coming to
very
speak with
much.
us on the
Thanks,
gavel.
Terry. Happy to be here.
Well, the National Assembly has adjourned till the 6th of June for its valedictory session and what will be the last plenary of the 8th National Assembly. We will be bringing you all that will take place in that historic final sitting. Well, it's at this point that we will be dropping the gavel today. Thanks for staying with me. I am Lanre Lasisi. Take care.